Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 4, Text 12. Doshan paresham hi guneshu sadhavo grihnanti ke chinna bhavadrisho dvija gunamscha falgun bahuli karishnavo mahattamas teshva avidad bhavan agham. Twice born Daksha, a man like you can simply find fault in the qualities of others. Lord Shiva, however, not only finds no faults with others' qualities, but if someone has a little good quality, he magnifies it greatly. Unfortunately, you have found fault with such a great soul. Purport. King Daksha is addressed here by his daughter Sati as Dvija, twice born. Twice born refers to the higher classes of men, namely the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. In other words, a Dvija is not an ordinary man, but when one who has studied the Vedic literature from a spiritual master and can discriminate between good and bad. Therefore, it is supposed that he understands logic and philosophy. Sati, Daksha's daughter, put before him some sound arguments. There are some highly qualified persons who accept only the good qualities of others, just as a bee is always interested in the honey in the flower and does not consider the thorns and colors highly does not consider the thorns and colors. Highly qualified persons who are uncommon accept only the good qualities of others, not considering their bad qualities. Whereas the common man can judge what are good qualities and what are bad qualities. Among the uncommonly good souls, there are still gradations, and the best good soul is one who accepts an insignificant asset of a person and magnifies that good quality. Lord Shiva is also called Ashutosha, which refers to one who is satisfied very easily and who offers to any person the highest level of benediction. For example, once a devotee of Lord Shiva wanted the benediction that whenever he touched someone on the head, that person's head would at once be separated from his trunk. Lord Shiva agreed, although the benediction asked was not very commendable because the devotee wanted to kill his enemy. Lord Shiva considered the devotee's good quality in worshipping and satisfying him and granted the benediction. Thus, Lord Shiva accepted his bad qualities as magnificently good qualities. But Sati accused her father. You are just the opposite. Although Lord Shiva has so many good qualities and no bad qualities at all, you have accepted him as bad and found fault with him because of your accepting his good qualities to be bad. Instead of your becoming the most exalted soul, you have become the most fallen. A man becomes the greatest soul by accepting the goodness of others' qualities, but by unnecessarily considering others' good qualities to be bad, you become the lowest of the fallen souls. So we can see how important it is to have the right frame of mind. Normally, people become a little envious to hear good qualities of others, or rather, if they think that they are glorified and I am not being glorified, or if they think that they have some quality which I don't have, and so on. So that is why normally we like to criticize people because we feel good. Yeah, they also have a fault. So I'm better than them. It is just that because of false ego. False ego makes one want to be the greatest. Na bhuto na bhavishyati, right? Ramana said, nobody like him, nobody like myself, neither now or in the future. So that they want to be the greatest. And so that demonic quality, or the thought process is there. To some extent, whatever little extent or greater extent, people like to gossip. Why? Because they like to run down somebody, m- do one character assassination, have a big this thing, bite a, sit and think about what are all the bad qualities of somebody. The materialists enjoy it. It's real. That is one great what do you call that's what they mostly talk about. Mostly they enjoy criticizing somebody or the other and laughing at them and having good fun at that person's cost. So, on the other hand, this is tamoguna enjoyment. Simply to, make fun of somebody or laugh or say derogatory things about them. If we can see that, and then on the mobile, on the WhatsApp, we see people like to purposely on the, Facebook posts and all that, they purposely do this to girls. Some of the boys, in the colleges or in the, um, in the workplaces also, they make horrible pictures about them and post it, and so that everyone should condemn them. Why should they do all that? Why? How can you get pleasure in, ruining other people's names? It's all out of envy. So you can see, understand that this envy is a horrible thing which sticks to us like bad odor for a long time until we throw it out, until we recognize that never am I going to entertain any odorous bad odor in my thinking, in my mental space. I should only have fragrant things like wholesome fruits, now organic fruits like that. I want only that. I want to be filled up with good thoughts. Then we'll feel very, very happy. Suppose we can see only good in others. Suppose we talk only about good in others. Then how happy we will be. Why should we? Even if somebody's got a fault, they may be making mistakes. Then what should we do? We should see, we can discuss, not to with everyone character assassinate them, but we can see how to help this person. Why is he like that? Because as a soul, everybody is wholesome and pure and very nice. But when this mixed with this, covered up with this tamoguna and rajoguna, they may have, everybody will have some fault. There's nobody without fault. As long as we are under the control of the modes of material nature, there is no human being ever without some fault or the other. You can always find out some fault. Even if they are doing a lot of good work, they may have some weaknesses. That is natural. Unless one becomes a pure devotee, then of course he's transcendental. Then even with him, people may try to find some fault. But that is through their this thing. They will only fall down if you criticize a pure devotee. But generally, even ordinary people or even devotees who are not completely perfect yet, they will have faults. And what is the point if we can help them, if we can change it in some way by either ourselves speaking to them humbly or we tell somebody who's responsible for them about it. If we can help them in some way, then we will even put it in our mental space. Otherwise, just forget. I'm not able to help that person, and that's up to him. And sometimes, of course, there are people who harm us, right? In that case, also that temptation will be, I will also attack them by, you know, taking revenge on them, and I will also obstruct, or I will um, tell everyone about this person. But what's the use of that? We'll just get entangled in that complete network of horrible feelings, trying to run down people, and it will never satisfy us. Never. Tamoguna and Rajoguna can never satisfy the mind. On the other hand, if you understand that, okay, he's also a spirit soul and Paramatma is in that person's heart also. And if Paramatma is allowing him or her to do whatever, it is because maybe Krishna is trying to, it is that Krishna is trying to purify me. So I only take shelter of Krishna. Or if somebody is not harming me, but they have some faults, we leave it to Krishna. He is there to take care. Now, I don't have to take it upon myself to correct this person. If it's not within my possibility, if I know someone who can help them, or if I myself can have some influence over that person, then we can try. Otherwise, just leave it. It's not my business. Krishna will take care of that person. So, in this way, and we can try to see some good qualities in them also. So, we don't condemn them like that. And that's a very nice thing for us. Forget about others, also will be very happy. It is such a nice feeling to be around people who are very positive and they look at you positively. They appreciate you, encourage you. Then it's so nice to be with them, isn't it? Because you feel, oh, good about yourself, and you want to um, improve yourself. On the other hand, that is why you have to see people as their possibility. Then you'll always be nice to people, because even if they have some bad quality or they're not behaving ideally, you can think that they have the potential to be a better person. So if you deal with them as that potential person, they'll feel so encouraged that they'll start wanting to be like that potential person which you think him to be. Maybe it doesn't, like Prabhupada used to do that. He used to praise the devotees even before they became perfect. You'd say, ah, very good, this, you're doing very nicely, and all that. So then the devotee used to think, oh my God, I don't have all those qualities, but since Prabhupada is saying that I have them, I better live up to it. So, when people encourage you and say that you are the possibility, then we feel like trying to be that possibility, right? Everybody can, just like we can change, others can also change. And if we are in an atmosphere where we are encouraged and appreciated, even we are not perfect, we know that, still people are so kind that they're only trying to see the good in us, then we feel very, very happy, and we feel an inspiration to actually improve ourselves. So that is why, that is Shiva. Shiva is so kind. First of all, he wants to elevate the most fallen people whom nobody else cares for. Like bhutas, pretas, those are his associates. He allows them to associate with him. All the time they are with him. So kind. Who will like to be with such living entities? But because they have some devotion towards Lord Shiva, he allows them that, to be with him, and they get purified and become elevated. So such a great soul, Lord Shiva is the best Vaishnava, so we should be inspired by him. And then Daksha, imagine, in such a great personality, you can always find fault. Though Shiva is transcendental, but still, because of his envious nature, he didn't want that Shiva should be on a higher position than himself. He was the great Prajapati, he was greater than all other even Devatas. But Devon ke Dev, Mahadev, was not under him. So that is what he was. Brahmaji, anyway, he was his father. So he didn't feel so envious towards him about the position and all that. But he became envious of Shiva. He thought Shiva is also my brother, na. He also took birth from Brahmaji. Why he is given superior status? All these, it's only envy which makes people see only, like a fly, only see the bad qualities in others. That is why the minute our mind goes towards that, nitpicking, trying to run down people because we feel why they are not better than me. I want to find something wrong in them so that I don't have to glorify them and satisfy my mind. It's all coming from false ego. And if we want to overcome our false ego, we have to keep on nipping in the bud any such thoughts that come which are reeking with false ego, either trying to condemn people or disobeying them or not respecting them, simply condemning. All these things are only because of false ego. It satisfied nobody else but our false ego. Then we want whoever we know, whoever our friends, they should also condemn the person I don't like. We make one rule like that. Everybody's frightened. Okay, you don't like that person, I'll also hate them. Then we have one understanding between us, that whoever is your friend is my friend, your enemy is also my enemy. So that is not real friendship. Friendship means if you think your friend is wrongly trying to criticize somebody, and then you tell them, wait a minute, don't do this. Why don't you see the good qualities? You'll only, I mean, something. If you can give good counsel, then you are a real friend. Maybe the friend will not be happy with us for some time. Say, I'm not going to talk to you because you're just unnecessarily, putting, I mean, not agreeing with me. That may be. But if we truly, first of all, we should want only the truth. We must not try to make appeasement with falsehood just for comfort zone. Oh, I want everyone to be nice to me. They should all talk nicely to me, and they should not lift their face and stop talking to me, or they're angry with me, hurt with me. It can happen, but if you have to compromise truth in order that everyone should be nice to me, to hell with that. Even if they are upset, truth is truth. And if you care for them, you want them to know the truth. You don't want them to go the wrong way. So that is why we have to, I mean, that only Shiva can do. And we have to follow in his footsteps, that we seek good in others because for our own peace of mind, and not follow Daksha. Mostly we follow, we are all like Daksha because he happily gave vent to his feelings. He could have thought, why am I mean, he's a very educated person. He's not like an ordinary person. He has all Shastric knowledge, and he has mystic powers also. And he also is a very great devotee of Vishnu with all these good qualities. Do you think his intelligence would not have told him what you're doing is wrong? But he didn't listen to any good counsel from Brahma, from Vishnu. Nobody's words he listened to. This is indulging our mind, indulging our false ego. We have to cut it out without any, um, you know, we always indulge our own false ego and our mind because we can't bear to. We think we are the false ego and we are the mind, and whatever it says, we have to indulge because there again comfort zone, because when the mind pulls, no, I want this only, then we yield to it. Okay, okay, you have it. Otherwise mind is going to be always plaguing you. I want it only this way. So why we should be strong and say, no, that is not correct. What you're thinking is not correct, and I'm not going to think like that. I'm only going to think in the spiritual way. We have to be strong, even to shut our own false ego and mind. And then after that only we can we'll be able to do for others also. They keep on repeatedly sticking to false ego and mind. We have to very humbly and gently tell them that, yeah, maybe, but then they also, why do you worry about it so much, about their bad qualities? Why don't you do that? I mean, we can say in a nice way, not that we, because sometimes if the mind, is disturbed, and you give it more disturbance by yelling at them or criticizing them, it'll be too much for them to take it. So we can say it, satyam vada, priyam vada. Say the truth in a pleasing way. So that is a thing. And Sati is disgusted with her father. She very attached to her father. Imagine, she even fought with Shiva and came away to be, to attend her father's function. That much love and respect she had for her father. But when she saw how horrible, he never thought that, I mean, she didn't look at him like that, that he's, I mean, she knew he was like that even before her wedding. But somehow she had still one rosy, this thing about him that he will still be nice now because of her and so on. So she was so disillusioned. Unfortunately, you have found fault with such a great soul. Nascharya etad yad asatsu sarvada Mahad Vininda Kunapatma Vadishu Seshyam Mahapurusha Padapam Shubhir Nirasta Tejasu Tad Eva Shobhanam. It is not wonderful for persons who have accepted the transient material body as the self to engage always in deriding great souls. Such envy on the part of materialistic persons is very good because that is the way they fall down. They are diminished by the dust of the feet of great personalities. Purport. Everything depends on the strength of the recipient. For example, due to the scorching sunshine, many vegetables and flowers dry up and many grow luxuriantly. Thus, it is the recipient that causes growth and dwindling. Similarly, Mahiyasam Padarajo Bhishekam, the dust of the lotus feet of great personalities, offers all good to the recipient, but the same dust can also do harm. Those who are offenders at the lotus feet of a great personality dry up, their godly qualities diminish. A great soul may forgive offenses, but Krishna does not excuse offenses to the dust of that great soul's feet, just as one can tolerate the scorching sunshine on one's head, but cannot tolerate the scorching sunshine on one's feet. An offender glides down more and more. Therefore, he naturally continues to commit offenses at the feet of the great soul. Offenses are generally committed by persons who falsely identify with the impermanent body. King Daksha was deeply engrossed in a misconception because he identified the body with the soul. He offended the lotus feet of Lord Shiva because he thought that his body, being the father of the body of Sati, was superior to Lord Shiva's. Generally, less intelligent men misidentify in that way and they act in the bodily concept of life. Thus, they are subject to commit more and more offenses at the lotus feet of great souls. One who has such a concept of life is considered to be in the class of animals like cows and asses. So that is what big thing that Sati is saying, that materialistic people commit offenses because they identify their body as the self. They cannot understand the qualities of great souls who are not identifying themselves with the body, who are transcendental. And they're saying such envy on the part of materialistic persons is very good because that is the way they fall down. Only then they'll become humble. They are diminished by the dust of the feet of great personalities. So, the same dust from the lotus feet of great personalities gives all benedictions, blessings. And on the other hand, if we commit offenses, maybe that personality may not even mind because they are situated in spiritual happiness. What will these sort of things affect them? They'll feel feeling, in fact, great compassion. What is this? Why are they running after all, you know, it's only because of bodily identification we feel envious. When as a devotee feels nothing belongs to me. It is all Krishna. So the happiness a pure devotee gets in serving Krishna, and he realizes all other people are, materialistic people are running after useless things, not knowing how wonderful it is to simply think of Krishna, the best friend, and to always be his well wisher and do things for him, that mood, then that is the greatest blessing, to be free from this illusion that I'm also like Krishna, I'm this body, I'm very great, and anybody who's greater than me, I want to destroy. I should be the best. That is the reason why Ramana kept all the devatas and he conquered. Where was the need? He was great, okay, you be great. But then he didn't want any devata to live in that. He was living in Lanka only. What is his problem? He could have let the devatas reside in the Svargaloka. But no, why should they live in that better place? Then he made them all his servants. He defeated them. This is demoniac buddhi that, they don't like. And especially they're very vengeful to pure devotees because they can't stand their good qualities. It's somehow, even if the pure devotee never did any harm to them, but still they hate it. They'll purposely try to sabotage and stop them. And this, especially between devotees and demons, we know that the demons cannot tolerate a devotee. The devotee may not be crossing their path at all, but they just hate them because that is the nature of a demon. And those who are offenders at the lotus feet of a great personality dry up. That is and their godly qualities diminish. We know that if our consciousness is not in the proper frame of mind when we are chanting, we can keep on chanting and we won't feel any happiness or any bliss. Then we should not blame anybody else for that. Oh, the Harinam or somebody else are disturbing. No, we will get chanting, bliss and taste in the holy name only when we chant in a very humble state of mind, right? Trinadapi sunichena, tarurapi sahishnuna. That is the solution Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives. Because in the second verse, he says, I know that the holy names are very great and, Nam Namakari Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shakti. All Shaktis are there. But I'm so unfortunate. Durdaivam idrishamiha jani nanuraga. I don't have any taste or affect, love for chanting the holy name. And immediately in the third verse, he says the solution. Trinadapi suni chena tarurapi sahishnuna. So how will we get that? By just surrendering to Krishna. I'm I'm your servant, Krishna. I'm just proudly walking around thinking, I am this, that, I can do so many things. All that is just an illusion. The real thing is that I'm a servant of Krishna, meant to only make him happy and always guided by him. That is my real position. And because I don't like to be in that position, I want to be something of my own, very proud. False ego is always putting us in that puffed up state. In the mind is full of false ego and puffed upness that we don't hesitate to even offend people because we succumb to our false ego. We are das and udas of this false ego. False ego says, no, how that person can be better than you, how he will get more than you, cannot be. Destroy him. If you cannot destroy him, destroy his name. Something. So we should, that is because of pride. And so, what is the result of such surrender to the false ego? We will not get any taste in chanting. That is why, for our own self interest, we should not at all think in these terms. Anytime such thoughts come, we should just flush it out. I don't want all this. That's my enemy number one. Maya is enticing me. Now think. See, you can think you're the best by run down other person. You just do something. And then we yield to the mind. Temporarily, we may be victorious also and feel joyful. Very good. That person is suffering. Very nice. This is nonsense. The mind, the wicked mind, that is an asura and things like that. But what is the point? When I take the beads and sit, I'm not getting any taste in chant. Gradually, it will dry up. And that is why we've had many great stalwart sannyasis and all during Prabhupada's time. They were all such wonderful, so much services they did for Prabhupada, what all achievements they did, and then suddenly fell down to nothing. And that can only be because of Vaishnava Aparadh. You become envious. Why that devotee is doing more than me, I will do something to stop him, or I will tell bad things about him. Whatever they did, what they did, and then they fell down. Also, we've seen, and many people were shocked. Oh, this devotee? How? Because that's why we have to be so careful. And on the other hand, if we become like Shiva and glorify whatever good other people have, then we will make big, big leaps and advance, because our mind will be in a humble state. And when we chant, we'll get so much happiness and joy. That is the only thing worth having in life, our relationship with Krishna. Holy name is our relationship with Krishna, right? How we chant determines our relationship with Krishna. If you're not at all listening to the holy name, that means we are not at all connected with Krishna. We are completely somewhere in Maya, fully in Maya. On the other hand, when we are hearing holy names and we're surrendering to the holy name, that means our connection is getting stronger and stronger. This is all. I mean, holy name is everything in our life. And we should give up everything which is not what you call not conducive to developing a relationship with the holy name. So that, and one of the worst thing is Vaishnava Aprad. That's the very first thing in the 10 offenses. Don't do Vaishnava Aprad. We should run away from that. Even if you see somebody else is doing, sometimes we indirectly enjoy it. I will not say anything, but somebody else is saying, I will sit and listen, and inside I will enjoy. That is also Aprad. If you don't say anything, if you don't stop a person from doing Vaishnava Aprad, you're implicated in that, and we will also dry up. So that is why very, an offender glides down more and more. Therefore, he naturally continues to commit offenses. So when you glide down, you'll do more offenses. That's the more greater danger. And she is saying that it's good for you because you need to, because he's so puffed up and proud. Offenses are generally committed by persons who falsely identify with the impermanent body. That's another ignorance. Well, 5 types of ignorance, right? We saw yesterday, I mean, in the last class. What are the 5 types of ignorance? One is to identify yourself with the body and mind. Or was it in Chaitanya Charitamrita we did? Okay. So the very first one is this, to think, because all the problem starts with that. I am this body, and it gives us that is the only sense gratification. What is the sense gratification? Is to think I'm this body separate from Krishna. You see, even somebody may not be engaging actually in too much sense gratification, and they may think I'm very advanced, yes, but if you are thinking that you're separate from Krishna, that itself is a sense gratification. Identifying with your mind or the body is a sense gratification. And because of that, we'll do offenses, because the body and the mind are meant to make us forget about Krishna and do all nonsense. And that is why, because Daksha means expert in material enjoyment. He was very rich, and he had, of course, he didn't have too many, he had only one wife, Prasuti, but so many children. But he was very dharmic, very well read, and he even wrote so many shastras and all, how to live life like Manu and all that. Very elevated soul. But his false ego he could not curb. He did not curb. He could have, because and so that is why he fell down. And imagine Sati, his own daughter, is cursing him. Yadvi aksharam nama gireritam rinam sakrit prasangad agam asuhanti tat pavitra kirtim tam alangya shasanam bhavan aho dveshti shivam shivetara. Sati continued, my dear father, see, She's actually giving good counsel. She doesn't even hate him. She said, "My dear father, you're committing the greatest offense by envying Lord Shiva, whose very name, consisting of two syllables, Shi and Va, purifies one of all sinful activities. His order is never neglected. Lord Shiva is always pure, and no one but you envies him. Since Lord Shiva is the greatest soul among the living entities within this material world, his name Shiva is very auspicious for persons who identify the body with the soul. If such persons take shelter of Lord Shiva, gradually they will understand that they are not the material body but a spirit soul. Shiva means Mangala or auspicious. Within the body, the soul is auspicious. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. This realization is auspicious. As long as one does not realize his identity as the soul, whatever he does is inauspicious. Shiva means auspicious, and devotees of Lord Shiva gradually come to the platform of spiritual identification. That is why Srila Prabhupada says, I think in the third canto, in some verse, that if you want to get rid of false ego, worship Lord Shiva or Sankarshana, whom Lord Shiva meditates on, because Sankarsana only creates false ego, and Shiva is in charge of false ego. So if all his followers, who are very, very fallen, they can rise up to liberation by worshipping Shiva, then we Vaishnavas, we are following Vaishnava things. Then if we worship, I mean, we take shelter of Shiva, very quickly our false ego can be destroyed. And that's why Prabhupada himself recommends you worship. I mean, the worship means not just think of him and pray to him whenever you see his this thing, or visit his temple, or in your mind, we can always pray to Lord Shiva. So please, you're so auspicious, Mangala, destroy my ignorance in identifying with my body and my mind. Um, Auspicious life begins from the point of spiritual identification, but there are still more duties. One has to understand one's relationship with the Supreme Soul. If one is actually a devotee of Lord Shiva, he comes to the platform of spiritual realization. But if he is not intelligent enough, then he stops at that point, only realizing that he is spirit soul, Aham Brahmasmi. If he is intelligent enough, however, he should continue to act in the way of Lord Shiva. For Lord Shiva is always absorbed in the thought of Vasudeva. As previously explained, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Lord Shiva is always in meditation on lotus feet of Vasudeva, Sri Krishna. Thus, the auspicious position of Lord Shiva is realized if one takes the worship of Vishnu, because Lord Shiva says in the Shiva Purana that the topmost worship is worship of Lord Vishnu. See how much he has no false ego only. People think, oh, Shiva, Vishnu, all are equal. They only sit and fight. Shiva is so humble. He's always meditating on Vishnu. Lord Shiva is worshipped because he's the greatest devotee of Lord Vishnu. And he only tells Parvati, Aradhanam Sarva Vedeshu Vishnu Aradhanam Param. Tasmat Parataram Devim Tadiyanam Samacharam. Vishnu Aradhanam is the topmost, but better than that is the worship of Tadiyas, or people or things associated with Vishnu. And by that thing, if we worship Shiva, then it is even greater. I mean, in the sense, as a Vaishnava, we glorify him, we praise him, we respect him, and meditate, I mean, pray to him. Then that is even greater, isn't it? We'll get Vishnu even faster. So, and one should not, however, make the mistake of considering Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu to be on the same level. That is the mistake. But if we take shelter of him as his devotee, that is very glorious. That is also an atheistic idea. That means thinking of them as a on the same level, Pashandi. It is also enjoined in the Vaishnaviya Purana that Vishnu or Narayana is the exalted supreme personality of Godhead, and no one should be compared to him as equal, even Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, not to speak of other demigods. So that we only in the third this thing offense, we should not think of, sorry, not third, second or third, yeah, second, to think of Lord Shiva and Brahma to be equal to or independent of Lord Vishnu. That is an offense. But in the Padma Purana, it is also mentioned, it is also an offense if you neglect Devatas or insult them. That is an offense also. So we have to balance both. On the one hand, we we don't equate them, we only worship. Meditation is only on Vishnu. Vishnu is the only Paramatma in our heart. It's Vishnu. It is not Shiva as a Paramatma. The Krishna, the description is given that the Paramatma in our heart is a Vishnu Murti, in everyone's heart. It's not that for Shiva Bhaktas, they may see Paramatma as Shiva, but in Krishna says that I am only in everyone's heart. He doesn't say in some hearts Shiva is there, some hearts Devatas are there. Only he is there. So that means everyone's has to reach to that level of connecting with him only. And those who already know that Vishnu is the topmost, should only meditate on him and not put somebody else also. You okay, whichever person you want, you put in your, is the Paramatma and you meditate on him. That is wrong. But for those who are not able to think about Vishnu, then Shiva is like just empowered by Krishna, that you go, he only increases, he only creates that faith in the people towards whichever devata they are inclined towards, that faith which is supposed to be for him only, and only he can. There is a relationship only between Vishnu and me. But suppose I'm not ready to listen to Vishnu, then Vishnu is very kind, then he makes my faith towards some other devata with whom I feel, this is easy. I like Ganesha because, it's very easy. And you go, you jolly God, and I just have to break some coconuts and say, give me this, give me that. He gives me. So Vishnu makes my devotion to Lord Ganesha, faith in him, very strong. He only makes. And so we are Vaishnavas, we should know that. And so we don't equate, but at the same time, we have to understand their great position and how dear Lord Shiva is to Vishnu. And we can take his help in such things. Some people think, oh, is it wrong? I just even looked at Shiva. Is it correct? Of course, he is. If you look at him in the proper way, that he is the devotee of Vishnu, we must feel so happy. We must glorify him because what a great devotee he is. Every moment he is just meditating on him and serving him. All the most difficult, dirty jobs in this universe, Vishnu only relies on Shiva to do that. Nobody else will do. And Shiva is ready to do that. What a surrender he has. How much love he has for Vishnu. And he even wanted to experience the mood of a gopi with Krishna. That is how much love he has for Krishna. And of course, he make a Gopeshwar Mahadev. He has no false ego about. Imagine, he is a male and a form of Shiva, and he has and then he is not at all attached even to that form. He wanted to be in the rasa dance, and they told him that you cannot go in a male form, you have to become a female. He gave it up and then became a feminine form and dancing with Krishna. So who can be greater than him? No false ego, absolutely. So if we worship him, definitely we can also become like that. No false ego at all. How blissful. That is bliss. And this unnecessary attachment to false ego is just a disease. It's worse than having some other disease like diabetes and blood pressure and liver problem and skin disease. We think that is very sad. But the greatest disease is false ego, which affects us, torments us, tortures us. That is the greatest disease. We have to get rid of that. And we've got such great personalities to take shelter of. He is there as Advaitacharya also. But of course, that's Sadashiva with Mahavishnu, Panchatattva are there to just profusely drop nectar into our hearts. And they are there, they've come only for us. And we are not taking enough advantage of that. We have to cry to each one of them, and then they can take us out. That's all. We can't get out of the gutter by ourselves. Stench. We're so used to that dirty stuff. We are sort of, made friends. Okay, this is how it's going to be. Dirt and bad, foul smell. I will live with this. We have surrendered to that. No, we don't need to live in that gutter. We can come out of it, but not on our own strength, right? It's very difficult to climb out of a gutter. Somebody has to come and help us get out of that gutter, and then, oh, so nice. Imagine, I thought gutter was okay to live. And here is such fragrances, such fresh air, and beautiful. So we can come out of it. And that's why Sati is trying to put sense in her father. Why? I mean, she's rebuking him because she's still hoping that he is very intelligent. He can, listen to it and change. But he had already surrendered completely to his false ego. So it was very difficult. Okay, we'll stop now. Any questions or comments?